The first time I saw him, I knew I loved him. The problem, he didn't send for me. He didn't even know I existed. He didn't know my name. But when I saw him, something clicked within me. I just knew there was more to him, unknown to me at that time, that it was God trying to speak through my Noah. I was really in love with him and I knew there was more to it. This is not just a story of love at first sight, it's a special love story written by God Himself. So let me tell you how it all began. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Yemisi John and I create faith-based content using my examples, my story, my life experiences to teach people about what God has really called us to do and what God really wants to do in our lives. It all began when I entered the university. I attended the University of Jos, Department of Biochemistry. So I was a 100 level student then, and he was already in final year. I was seeing him around the faculty and the department because we're in the same department. He was the president of Christian Student Fellowship. That's about Chemistry Christian Student Fellowship. So there was this tutorial they used to organize for new students that were just coming into the university to help them because there were some very difficult courses then, like organic chemistry and mathematics, physics. So he and some of his friends and some ex-schools, they organize a kind of free tutorial to help we freshmen. And I would attend those tutorials. I would just be looking at him that there's something about this man, but he didn't even know I existed. Like he didn't even know my name. Just knew me as one of those new fresh bees. So it went on like that, and fortunately, again, we were in the same hostel. So most times when we were going to school in the morning, we meet at the bus park. I would greet him well. Good morning, sir, and good morning. He was just this focused and he didn't have time for anybody except God and his books. At the time, also, I want to add here that I wasn't praying for a husband. Remember, I was new in the university, and I think what was even paramount on my mind then was the freedom. I was free for the first time away from mommy and daddy. But I know that before then, I always prayed that God will give me a God fearing man, a godly husband. I wanted somebody that was easygoing. I had some things checked out on my list, like on my list of things I want in my husband. I wanted someone easygoing, godly, friendly, funny, God fearing, and most importantly, I had this idea then, and I still have it now, that I want my best friend to be my husband. Okay, so this particular person checked all everything on my list except the one of best friend. He wouldn't even talk to me, let alone be my best friend. I don't know if anyone can relate to this. The love I felt for him. I don't know whether to say it's abnormal, considering that he didn't even send for me. But then life continued, and I think towards the end of third semester, I had to travel home. By the time I came back, I found out that I didn't see him around because, okay, every day I looked forward to seeing him. Like, I knew it's either I would see him at the bus park or I would see him around the school. Remember, we're in the same department, or I'll see him somewhere around the hostel, or maybe when he's going on evangelism. I just looked forward, or even in the reading room. Yeah, I remember. He's always in the reading room. So I looked forward to seeing him every day. And then I came back from my journey and found out that I didn't see him again. So there were some of his classmates that were still in school. They had spillover. So I remember I asked one sister in his class, I was like, what of Bratusin? And said, oh, he has left. I'm like, is he coming back? She said, no, he has finally left. He has done his clearance and left. I cried that day. I cried. It hurt me. So what I did was I collected his number from that sister, but I didn't call him. So I just saved it on my phone and that was it, and life continued. Then the spiritual signs started coming, and in that was in 200 level, and that was the first trance experience I ever had. In 200 level, I was in my hostel, just resting on my bunk, and I wasn't sleeping, but I closed my eyes, and what I saw amazed me. It was just like a runway, like on a runway, this one that beauty models use for beauty pageants. And I saw a figure there, and when I looked, it was him, dressed in a very nice tuxedo, and he struck a pose like, like models would do. And I heard that voice, "That's your husband." My husband. I don't even know where he was on the face of the earth. He didn't even know my name, and I dismissed it. Actually, I just okay, but it's something I remember till this day. After seeing that trance, I told God. I said, in Africa, like the way I was brought up, a woman will not propose to a man. I can't even do it. So I said, God, why do you keep showing me this thing? If you feel he's my husband, show him some things and let him take the first step. So I just, handed it over to God like that and just moved on with my life. Life continued. In fact, I started dating other people because then I finished 200 level, I was in 300 level. Unknown to me that God was already at work in him too. So this was what he told me later after we got engaged. He told me that there was a time that at that period he was about rounding up his NYNC, and he had a big invitation, very big invitation to minister in a program, a very big one. In fact, his picture was on billboards and it was a big deal for him. So he took some time out to pray and fast concerning that program. I think he said a 30-day fast or something. And after the fast, instead of this, our God is a mysterious God. Instead of him seeing revelations concerning the program, yeah, he did see some, God revealed some things to him concerning the program. But then part of the revelation he saw was for me. So I'll explain the revelation. This is where it gets mysterious. He was in front of the University of Jos Gate in that revelation, and he said he got a call on his phone, and he looked. I was like, who is this? And then there I was in a distance. And by the way, he said, ladies were many in front of the gate. It was just like a massive crowd of ladies. And I was far at a distance and I was waving to him, like trying to catch his attention. So I was not telling him that it's me that is calling you, it's me, I am the one. So, and that the revelation cleared. And God explained it to him that it meant that that's his wife. And he know that the face looked familiar. Like I told you, he didn't send for me in school then. So I perceive he had even forgotten like who I was. But seeing my face in the dream, it brought back some memories, and I was like, okay, it's like I know this person. And this way it gets mysterious. He remembered the phone number he saw in the dream. So as he woke up, he wrote it down immediately, wrote my name because he didn't even know my name, but my name and the phone number was showing in the phone in the dream. So he wrote it down. And after some weeks, he called. He called me and I was shocked. Remember, I had his number. I got it from his classmate. So I was shocked. Like, why is this guy calling me? So he said, is this Yemisi? I said, yes. Okay, how am I doing? How is school? And just later he told me that he actually called to confirm the dream and to link the number with the face, like just to be sure that he even got the real number. And he was shocked that the number was actually my number and it was the same name he saw in the dream. But how he now interpreted the dream was that I was still busy because I said, I'm coming, it's me. So it was just cold feet. He said he didn't want to move any further because he felt I was still in school. And maybe what I meant in the dream is that let me finish school first. And after that call, everything he went silent again. Then I think after 6 months or so, I was on my industrial attachment. Then I wasn't in school, I was at home going for my IT. And then I got his call. And well, that was how we started talking. So he called me like once in 3 months, once in 2 months. And then he started getting more frequent. He would call me like once in a month. And these were just basically spiritual calls, like just how you doing? How is your spiritual life? Blah blah blah. How is your studies? How is biochemistry? Do you have any challenge? Just those kind of. So the calls continued to get frequent, and with time we were beginning to bond. And it was then that the last part of my checklist was ticked: best friend. We became so close to the extent that I was telling him of all the people I was dating. Like, we just saw ourselves like friends. So if I'm dating someone, I'm dating this guy, you can you imagine what he did? Like, and he will give me advice. Okay, no, this is how you should deal with a man. This is what a man wants. Blah blah blah. And he was giving me advice on how to make my relationship work. When I think back about it now, it's just so funny. And this continued for almost 2 years or 3 years. I don't even know. Can't remember now. But it continued for a long time. But we were getting so close, and we used to have vigils together. He'll call me at night and we'll pray, and this was helping my spiritual life. I think maybe God even used that period because that was when I really came to know God. Yeah. I was born a Christian, born into a Christian home, but I didn't have a personal relationship with God. It was after we started talking and praying, He began to expose some things to me from scriptures. And I started even like miracles happening. Before I even met Him, I used to have, is it dysmenorrhea, they call it, very painful menstruation. And it was over the phone, we prayed, He put me on a communion therapy, and that was the last time I ever had those pains. Several things like that now made me to know God more. He exposed the person of the Holy Spirit to me, and we're just like this. We're just so close. And by this time, even me, I had forgotten what His face looked like. So it was a relationship based on faith. Faith. Yeah, I remember there was a time I was even talking to my mommy about him, and my mom was like, I don't know what you're doing. No, you better go and get somebody that you can see, somebody, because it was now a long distance relationship. My mom said, you've not seen him for how many years did you say? What if he's blind now? Mothers, African mothers, and how they can be. So we were in a distant relationship for years. He was in Kogi State, I was in after schooling in Jos, I relocated to Niger State where I served, and now stayed back and started working. So let's fast forward to December of 2010. Yeah, I just finished schooling, relocated back home, and was preparing to go for my service year in January of the following year, 2011. And he was still doing this best friend. And by then, in fact, I had broken up with, I was not in any relationship again. It was not a funny place to be because all the other men I entered into a relationship with, they had one issue or the other. I just knew that they were not God's plan. So I just got rid of everything and just decided to be on my own. So that December, I have always known that he's my husband. So I went on a fast. I declared a fast for myself towards the end of the year. And the major aim of that fast was that God, if this man is my husband, do something for him to talk. If not, I'm not interested in the friendship again because it was just becoming somehow. And I really prayed on that prayer point, and I told God, I remember specifically, I said, seize his peace until he does what he is supposed to do. Seize his peace, and let's know where we are headed. And brothers and sisters, by January of the following year, 2011, I think either the first or the second week of January, he called me. He said, there's something we need to discuss, and I was laughing like, yeah, finally. So, and it was even then I realized that all this while he already knew, and he was having cold feet. He was just like, he cherished the friendship we had, and he didn't really know if he goes ahead and asks my hand out in marriage, if it will spoil everything. So he was just so scared. That was what he explained to me, and I said, why now? You've wasted my time. All along me, I knew. And it was then I even showed him the poems, because one thing that kept me going all those years, I kept writing poems about what I was feeling, because the love was so strong. And I wrote several poems about our relationship. I wish I even have them here. I would have read some to you guys, but I don't even know where they are. I don't know, maybe they are lost somewhere in my parents' house. So I showed him all the poems over the phone. I read them to him, and that was how our relationship started. We started courting in January of 2011, but it was still a distant relationship. Although later on in that year, I told him that, see, because I started getting scared. What my mom said was like, what if he's blind by now? So I started insisting that I wanted to see him. So I think in July of that year, my birthday month, he came over to Mina, and we saw each other face to face for the first time in in 6 years. Yeah, because the last time I saw him was 2007. Yeah, 2007, and then I saw him again in 2011. That should be 4 5 years later. And that was the onset of our relationship. And you would want to imagine that the story got sweet from there, right? Mm-mm. The battle now increased because at the end of that year we declared our intentions to our parents that we wanted to get married, and all sort of opposition started again from his own side. His people were like, no, you can't get married before your elder brother, and then my parents started with their own too. No, you can't get married to him. He's a pastor. I don't know. I don't want to go into the detail of all those because being the firstborn, I think the expectations of my parents towards me was just too high. I just perceived they wanted me to marry a billionaire or something, or that would myself. So, so the battles just continued, but we kept praying. That's one thing I know we kept doing all through the courtship period. We were praying, although it came to a point that the the pressure was too much, and considering that it was in a distant relationship, we separated for some time, maybe 2 months or so. We separated, but later on, God did not allow us to rest. I kept getting some revelations. He kept getting some revelations, so we had to come back together and join forces. Even though it was through the phone, we joined forces, and prayed our way into this marriage. And in 2015. By then, his elder brother had married, and somehow God had worked on the heart of my parents, and everybody agreed that okay, we can get married, and that was how we got married in 2015. So this is a love story that took 10 years to materialize, because I like to see it as starting from the time that God showed him to me in the trance, and even when I saw him for the first time. So that's like 2006. This whole thing started, and we finally got married in 2015. So that's about 9 to 10 years. When I think back on the whole thing, I don't even remember that we had to wait for that long. Yeah, because the wait was worth it. It was worth it. So I just want to conclude this whole story by telling somebody that allow God choose your partner for you. Yes, God is still in the process of matchmaking. I don't really believe that we should get all spiritual about this and God will show me the person in the dream or something, but allow him to choose. If you're somebody that hears God's voice, I've talked about several ways we can hear God's voice as believers. I'll leave the link. So if you're someone that hears God's voice, you will know there will be different ways that he will show you. So allow him to choose the person, allow you to show you. Even though it might seem like it's taking time, please, eventually that time it took will not matter if you are in the right plan. If you're following the right plan, you're in the plan of God for your life, that time will not matter, I tell you. Because eventually when you come into the marriage and you're enjoying a peaceful home, you have peace of mind, and a godly husband, a God-fearing one that is truly the priest of the home, you won't remember all the time it took you to wait to get that person. So this is my counsel to everyone out there that is still believing God for the beautiful gift of a life partner. Allow God choose your partner. And something with waiting, God's time is different from our time. It might seem like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years wait, but to God, He's just looking at you like, it's not just 2 minutes that just passed. So we live in different time space. So let's just allow God and have that mindset that whenever it happens, it's actually the right time for it to happen. And while you are in that waiting period, use it to build yourself, especially spiritually. Use it to edify yourself. Use it to improve your spiritual life. Use it to grow with God, because you will need it. Because even most times when the right person comes, I hope you know that the kingdom of hell is not happy when two right people are coming together, because They're coming together to join forces. The family is the first unit that fights the kingdom of hell. So they like to fight back so that that union will not be possible. And that's why you see people that are meant to be, they go through all sort of attacks, all sort of crises before the marriage. So you would want to use this time to build yourself up spiritually so that when the right person comes, he's also, I believe, will be, or she also, I believe, will be fortified spiritually, and people can join forces together against the kingdom of hell to bring your home into materialization. So if you've watched to this stage, thank you. Don't forget to like and share the video. Subscribe also if you haven't done that already. I'd like to also hear your story in the comments. Until next time, remember, I love you and stay blessed. Bye.